Hello and welcome back to the show where we talk about all things stock related. So we look at different trading strategies, we look at what's happening in the market, and we also look at how to grow your portfolio, how to actually get that portfolio up to that $1 million. Now, we don't make financial advice, we don't give financial advice, but we do share stocks and tips that we think that you should have on your radar. So in today's session, we're actually going to be talking about three key takeaways that actually happened at Nike's earnings call. So if you have not yet known about it or heard about it, Nike had their earnings call on Thursday, December 19th, 2024, and it was pretty much just wrapping up the earnings season for December. So for those of you who don't know, so Nike actually had recently changed their CEO. So now they have hired back Elliott Hill. So Elliott Hill actually has an incredible story. So he actually started out his career selling shirts and sneakers. He was pretty much a sales agent for the company, and he built his way up. He worked his way up until he actually became the on the board of the companies, and now he's the president and CEO. So if you want to hear more about Elliott Hill's story, definitely I'd suggest you check out that interview with the School of Hard Knocks. It's actually here on YouTube, so you can just Google YouTube School of Hard Knocks Nike CEO interview. So as we said, now let's get started. So Nike actually had their earnings call, and it was a pretty good session. It was a lot that was happening. So I'm going to share with you the three main key takeaways that you need to know from this actual earnings call that happened. So during the earnings call, the first key takeaway was that the company is right now going to be going through a redirection. So as how the company sets up, they actually have been in a loss of identity per se. So Elliott Hill came on and he shared that since his arrival as CEO and his new appointment as CEO of Nike, the company has actually been struggling. They have suffered really and truly, because as it stands right now, he really needs to change the course of direction. He needs to change everything that's happening with the company. And so he really is going into a whole redirection of the company. He is getting that prestige, that sense, that love, that care for Nike. He wants to get it back up on the top. So he right now at this point in time is taking a much more strategic approach as to how he is going to go about dealing with Nike, dealing with customers' perception, dealing with the value created. He actually did something very phenomenal, which is that he traveled across the world. So he traveled across the United States, across London, across Berlin, across China, Asia, and he met with different retailers. He met with the different store owners in these different parts of the world to really see what was happening, to see how much the culture had shifted over the past 5 years, past 10 years. And so right now what he's really trying to do is get back that culture, get back that lifestyle, get back that whole activeness, that everything surrounding what Nike is known for and what Nike really and truly is capable of. That's really what he is setting out to do right now. And so the redirection is, of course, very necessary, and it really is needed to get Nike back up into the top spot as the number one sports apparel and running sneaker life active lifestyle sort of garment and company. And now this leads us into our second segment, which is that the second key takeaway right now is focus. So during the earnings call, Elliott Hill shared that he right now is gonna be getting the focus for Nike back on track. So Nike had lost their identity, they had shifted, they had fallen off, and he right now has promised that he's gonna be ensuring that Nike is a sports brand first and foremost. And what that means is that when you think about Nike, you want to think about sports. You want to think about football, you want to think about basketball, you want to think about baseball, you want to think about tennis. You want to really think about sports. And so this is really what he has set up to do in his new tenure. He is going to be rebranding and focusing on that sports and that lifestyle, that sports active fitness type of lifestyle. So as Elliott Hill shared during the actual earnings call, right now Nike had fallen off and they had shifted into more of a promotion company and less so of a sports company. And what that really means is that over the past few years, which would have caused the fall in the share price, is that Nike had actually been pushing promotions and discounts. So you'd be going onto the stores, you'd be going onto their websites, and you'd be getting a lot of deals. You'd be getting discounts, you'd actually be getting coupons that actually say, hey, purchase me, get 30% off, or that sort of style. And so he has decided that he is positioning the company to now focus on sports, because with promotions it is necessary for clothing and companies, but when you have too much of it, it can actually affect the whole brand image and the value associated with the brand, which is very evident in Nike. And so because they had shifted the focus from sports and into promotions, it really drove the value of the company down. And so whereas persons would actually be going out of their way to purchase the latest sneakers, the newest drops, just a particular type of clothing or so from the company, they have actually now been more into almost a retail company where you go in, you purchase, and after a few months there'll be a fall in the actual clothing stock and inventory, and so they just wait. And this was really done a lot online, and so it significantly affected the revenue of the company. And so because of this, Nike had actually recorded a loss in their revenues over the quarter from the previous year to now. They had lost about 4 or 6% decline in their actual revenues. And so this really has been due to the actual promotions that have been happening. So because the companies have focused on promotion, it would be needed from time to time to get rid of stock and inventory, but however it drove the actual value down for the company. And because of this, they actually had lost a few retail spaces. And as the new CEO Elliott Hill shared, he has been out and about speaking with different retailers to get the brand image back up, to get the stocks back in store, to have that shelf space, and to really have the whole sports identity and the whole focus of the company around sports front and centered. And so a person's first perception of the brand should be sports. And then secondly, they can think about that active wear lifestyle. And so with that being said, the company had actually signed new deals with the NBA, the WNBA, Barcelona, the NFL, just to name a few. So with these new signings, they actually have kept that perception and that image of the sportswear front and center, and so they are really pushing this at this point in time. And also with the sports focus happening right now, they've also been increasing their franchising, and so what they are doing right now is gearing the new products that are coming out. So the Jordans, the LeBron James sneakers, the Kobe Bryant collabs, all these sorts of stuff, they are now gonna be focusing on releasing. As when you talk about Nike 5, 10, 20 years ago, you always thought about the latest sneakers. So there was actually this interview with a street artist from the United Kingdom, and in that interview they had shared that London, and he was of one of those sub genres, grime, and he shared in that interview that that grime is Air Force Ones and Air Force Ones is grime. So what that really was saying was that if you are associated with that culture, if you're associated within that demographic, if you can relate to it, then you would be associated with the Air Force Ones. And so if you were to relate that now into just the whole company now, and let's just say that for instance there are 8 million black persons in London, for example, just saying, and out of that 8 million there's 5 million persons that are linked to that culture, and let's say that the Air Force Ones actually are selling for about $100 per pair of sneakers, and that's 5 million persons linked with that company. Then that would mean that if 5 million persons are purchasing the Air Force Ones on a regular basis, that's $500 million worth of revenue that the company can expect on a regular basis. And this is just from one demography and one culture. But if you were to extend that from just blacks in London to the whole UK, so Birmingham, Manchester, Liverpool, then you'd widen the pool, so you go from 5 to maybe 20 million. And if you were to include other demographics such as whites, Hispanics, other non-colors, that's a whole new wave that you're entering into. And this is just one country and one culture. And if you were to go across the pond into the United States right now, the Nike pretty much is the leading brand sponsor for the NBA, and the NBA has actually been increasing the generation of revenues from about 78 million, and it has been increasing year over year. The popularity has been increasing. They have players from all across the world. There's this new French player in the NBA right now that is the talk of the town for basketball fans. And when you think about basketball, you really think about Michael Jordan, and you want to think about your Jordans, so your Air Jordans, your Jordan 4s, your Jordan 1s, your Jordan 6s, those sorts of stuff. And let's just say there's 30 million persons in the United States that tune into the NBA every season. And let's just say out of that 30 million, 20 million persons purchase some sort of Air Jordans. And let's just say that the Air Jordans average $150 per sneakers. Now, at $150 per sneakers for 20 million persons, that is billion just from the NBA fans alone. And so $3 billion plus the 500 million from, as previously described in the scenario from the UK, would be $3.5 billion that they would be expecting on a regular basis just by selling 2 lines of sneakers. And now when you include like your running shoes, your apparels, your football boots, so you have the likes of Neymar, Mbappe, Cristiano Ronaldo, and these are sneakers that are being sold at a premium price. This really increases the revenue and the amount that Nike, the reach that Nike would be able to make, because they partner with these superstars. So they partner with Kylian Mbappe, they partner with Cristiano Ronaldo, they partner with Naomi Osaka, they partner with the United States women's track and field team, the NBA. This really shows that with Elliott Hill, he has taken the time to really sit down and just study and see where the company had fallen short, where they were lacking. And so he had decided just to make that strategic move, that strategic change, and to tweak certain things and just really rebrand and refocus and reposition the company into that sports and active lifestyle. And so right now, Nike is gonna be focusing on running, training, football, just to name a few. And so with this new focus, the core values of the company will be now realigned, and so the company will be able to refocus and just get back to basics and get back to why persons had loved the brand, and less so on actually promotions and marketing and just getting it out in your face kind of lifestyle and that sort of thing. And so this would be the actual third key takeaway, which was that the company Nike had lost the contracts, which would have been the franchisees, so the Dick Sporting Goods and the JD and those sorts of different persons that would have been contracted with Nike to actually have the sneakers and the clothing and apparel and on the front and centered. And so this would have been the last key takeaway from Nike. And so they have decided that they're going to get back these contracts. The CEO has started, he's made these calls, he's made the contacts, and he has shown them that he is going to get the value of the company back up to where persons are. And guys, remember, Nike is the number one United States sports and active lifestyle brand, and they're one of the top 3 brands in the world. Right now, Nike is currently priced at $76 for one share, and that gives them a market cap of about $115 billion, and that is phenomenal. And Nike was coming from over $120 a few years ago. And so with that being said, now they are really getting back to the basics, back to their core values. And so what Nike is gonna be doing is they're gonna be phasing out these promotions that they're having. So if you are interested in purchasing some Nike products, it would be recommended that you make those purchases now before the actual promotions and sales end, because once the restructuring has fully taken effect, they are going to phase this out almost entirely. And so what they are going to be doing is getting full price stocks and full price items back out on the websites, because how it currently is, the buying directly from the website would mean that the wholesalers would actually be losing out. And if the wholesalers are not really gaining that much from profit, that they're gonna not sign contracts with the company because persons are not buying from them and instead purchasing from other resources. And so with that being said, they have decided that they're gonna be reducing or almost eliminating these actual costs and promotions that they have, the discounts that they get, and it will really only happen like during seasonal changes. So when they need to get rid of inventory, then that's really when you're gonna see sale prices on a few items. And the last thing that I want to make mention is that right now the Kobe Bryant sneakers is the actual best selling sneakers, and then the second best selling sneakers is the Sabrina, who is an WNBA star. So those are the top two selling sneakers from Nike right now. And as I wrap up, I just want to let you know that the revenues for Nike has actually fallen over the previous year, but they are up over the previous quarter. So right now the revenues are at about $13 billion, and it's down about 8% from the previous year, but it's up about $2 billion since the actual previous quarter. And the company had shared during the earnings call that they do expect going into 2025 that they will still be seeing a loss in revenue and a reduction due to the whole restructure and rebranding that's happening. But right now they are focusing on getting that value up, getting the confidence back with their retailers, with their contracts, with their wholesalers. And so what they're doing right now is really damage control. And so this is why I believe that Elliott Hill is the best guy for running the company right now, because someone who has started out selling the actual products on the streets and working his way up to the top. There's nobody better. There's nobody who will have the experiences, who will have the stories to tell that he has. Because when you are out there hustling and grinding and trying to make ends meet, it's a different experience. It teaches you something different that many persons would not have learned. And so when you go from that to being the top and being the person who calls the shots, you know exactly what persons are looking for. You know exactly how to bring value, how to exceed the value in people's minds. And so these are just a few of the reasons why I believe Elliott Hill is the best man to run Nike. And so that's really all that I want to share with you. If you want to hear more about Nike, I definitely recommend checking out their earnings call, looking into their financials for the quarter. And as always, before you invest in any company, do your own research, because there are no guarantees and stock markets are very volatile. But Nike right now is going through some serious changes. They're going through some serious restructuring. And so with that being said, maybe it's a stock that you can consider adding to your portfolio if you are willing to weather the storm, if you are willing to ride out the tough times, the high volatilities that is going to be expected over the next year or two with this company as they restructure and as they look to increase the brand awareness and the brand value and just grow organically and less on paid advertising. And so that's really all that I have time to share with you all today. So thank you so much for tuning into this episode. If you like it, I definitely ask that you give us a thumbs up or a heart wherever you consume this material. Share it with a friend who you believe will benefit from this and have that discussion. If you guys agree with it, drop a comment down below, leave a review, Let me know your thoughts. Let's have that discussion. I love when you comment. I love hearing from you. I will respond. And until next time, subscribe as well to I Almost Forgot. Subscribe or follow wherever you consume this material so that you don't miss out on new episodes as soon as they are released. And until next time, take care. Love you guys. Bye.